Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars. Let's continue the story. So, this story in particular, I know the least about it. But I think, assumingly, you can just generalize it by saying it's the Jedi fighting the Sith and the Empire before the beginning of Episode 4, A New Hope, and what also might be interesting is if there's actually any action that takes place like right between this and that Lego, not the Lego Star Wars thing, but was it Star Wars Rogue One, which is also a movie I haven't watched. And that's the newest Star Wars property thing to come out uh, since Disney purchased them, the Star Wars rights, and so we've got some stuff to. So there might be some overlap. There might be some retconning that went on. Now notice we aren't actually in a level, so this is a hub world. And it's telling me we've been playing for 16 minutes and we're already 2.1% done. Let's see, go ahead and pull that. Well, geez, I thought there would be more to it than that. I guess I can break some things, and we already have some characters we could purchase, which we want to play this correctly. Particularly the last Star Wars games, like Indiana Jones 2 that we played, we need 3 gold bricks to go through this. Interesting. Only 3. Like, we didn't play as well as we should have, and that ended up causing me to have to grind a little bit more than... See, this isn't breaking, which makes me seem to assume that that's... look, there's a red brick right there, so the red bricks might be in the overworld instead of in the actual gameplay. And let's see, we would need an R2D2 unit there. And see, I don't know if any of this is going to get saved or if this is just here. I also don't know if the lagging that I'm seeing and I'm mentioning is from OBS. I suppose it is possible that my video card simply can't handle both recording and playing this game at the same time. It doesn't make any sense at all because every other game I've played has never shown even a small frame drop while recording. OBS, the software I use, is pretty lightweight and kind, and I know I have the settings set to a pretty high quality as far as just how much buffering it should do, but it, like, it's something in the engine of this game in particular. So we have mission select, something locked, something locked, something locked, something locked. So we already know we've got a different way of interfacing. Usually, in comparison, we were at the bar in the original Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, which is now far from being the Complete Saga. But we would walk into one room and that would be the first movie, and in that room there would be 6 to 8 doors with levels in them. Here it's just a interface, much like we saw in Lego Batman 3. It's kind of lazy and I don't really like it. And we have a problem here. There's no telling which way we're supposed to go. And when I played this before, I had the same issue. I don't know how it went in the movie. So I don't know if I'm supposed to go to Rusan Moon, the Duel of the Droids, or Battle of Geonosis or The Hidden Enemy. It seems like these stories are so non-connected, and I assume this is Geonosis, and that each one of these things are just right next to each other. So it seems like these paths are just so unconnected that you could do it in any order. And so, since I haven't watched the series, and this is just a map of the entire, what is this supposed to be, a galaxy? I guess it has to be a galaxy because they would have different suns, and that. Since I don't know the order, and I assume Genosian Arena is where we started, that would make sense. Well, I guess we should just go by color. That's what I do, is Roy G. Biv. Red is part of purple, so, and then green and blue. So I'm gonna do The Hidden Enemy. I mean, I have no idea if this is right, and that was similarly the problem when trying to do the levels in Lego Batman 3 too. Just have no clue. And there's no actual story like number here. It says Asajj Ventress Chapter 1 The Hidden Enemy. And I guess maybe we're going to play the story of this person named Asajj Ventress. And so if that's the case and we keep going down that path, I'm fine with just following that character. And so then this is where we are getting far, far away from what I think happened in the movie, the Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. Like, I don't think any of this happened in this. I think it was just maybe mentioned. Decent looking buildings there. A little bland in their textures. We're running everything at 1080p with the highest things, and it looks pretty good, but not great. The thing it's missing is texture. Just detail. Everything looks a little simplistic. Alright. And so, who are we playing as? A clone trooper and Anakin Skywalker. And we've got a lot of pink and purplish things. Purplish with a slight hint of pink. Only small characters can open those hatches. And just break some stuff. Decent amount of Legos things to break. One of those to break. I doubt we'll find all of those, considering there's seems to be a decent amount of things over there. And then here's our Jedi. Cut a hole in the window, and then the clone trooper will press B and swing over here. So nice balance of effects. Oh man, managed to kill myself there. Then cut through this again, and then break everything. He's doing a massive amount of destruction after cutting the X shape. He probably didn't need to do the X shape in the first place, if I was to guess. Let's go ahead and use the Force to shut this door, so we don't have an infinite number of these droids. And so, right now, the Jedi Council, I think, is in charge. So we plug that in, whatever that was. And they're working with the clone troopers. And it's not until later that the Jedi's get betrayed, if I'm remembering correctly. How much should I run around and break things, I wonder? This is a Lego game, and I would prefer to do this, but remember, we can, when we get these extras, which we have 18 extras, which tells me there's probably 18 levels, but maybe not. Maybe more, maybe less. 18 seems about right. That's usually how a Lego game goes, except for Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. I think inherently the Complete Saga does a disservice to all the other Lego series, because all the other Lego series are half as long as the Complete Saga, and then it feels like you're getting ripped off. And in some arguments you probably are getting ripped off. But almost all the Lego games I would recommend to play on the Xbox or the PlayStation if they run smoothly. And I think they probably will. There are also 3DS versions and portable versions of these games that were very, very different, and I wouldn't recommend probably doing those. Just don't think it's well, nowadays you even finding a 3DS and getting it for sale is probably highly unlikely. Let's see, can I make this jump? Or am I gonna need a female character that can jump twice as far? Or somebody that can fly or hover? Got it. I'm gonna have to hit Y while I'm in the air to switch to the other character. And then the game locks up. Come on. Are you supposed to plug into that or not? I think it's supposed to plug into that. Did I already plug it into that, or is there something? It's like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, see, it just kind of magically connected. Yeah, alright, whatever. Don't tell me this other guy is still dying over here. He is. So I have two choices now, because the game is messed up on me. I can either run this way and hope that the character shows up when I'm very, very far away. Or like I'm as far away as possible. And see, I bet Jango Fett or Boba Fett would have a fine experience. This guy's just dying. Maybe work our way backwards? Should I go forward or should I go back? Seriously? Seriously, game? You didn't think of this one? I can't move forward until all the characters. Why is it popping me up here? Like there should be something there, when there's nothing there. Why isn't it popping me up on a surface? Like, I cannot make it. I'm pushing all the way to the back. Straight back. Oh, there is like some weird thing there. Or something you can get stuck on. Hmm. So should I just give up? I think I should just quit the hub. Wow. Wow, what an experience to start. What a way to start a game. Try it again. I guess we won't bother to... I guess we won't bother to do any of that stuff. We'll skip all this. We'll just switch as fast as possible. See, and since I've never really sat down and bothered to watch the prequels, I don't know if it really does a good service to effectively establishing Darth Vader as a character and why he turned out to be the bad guy. I would guess that the answer to that is a simple no. It simply doesn't happen. See, so I think you have to unplug this first, and then this can be used to close that, and then this can be used to close that. Using the Force quite a bit there. Let's just eliminate all of the people in this room and then move forward. Yeah, I would have never been able to make it to this next section. And I don't know how much more game there actually is here. Or, see, this looks like a fight section. And there's just more and more of these clone... not these droids. These battle droids. And see, I guess this might be a really good place to... we need a bounty hunter called, like, Cad Drain. Commander Cody. The game is locking up too. Already this game has found a way to annoy me by having lockups. And see, this is just weird. And Cody has an explosive. It's going to throw explosive balls everywhere. Turns out there's just switches here that you need to just step on. And see, once I eliminate the threat on the ground, I think we'll be in a better position to help our ship over there, which I assume that's our ship. And see, I assume that this is something we're supposed to do. No, that doesn't actually look like it's anything. Nope, we're supposed to build this instead. So am I making a gun? Yeah, I don't even know what I'm shooting at. Like, am I shooting at my ship with the missile gun, or am I shooting at the guns that are shooting at my ship? I guess I was shooting at the guns. And here the in-game, in-engine cutscene. The droid's head to activate this panel. Well, how do I get a droid's head? Let's see. I don't have any aim up and down, so like I don't feel like I can And see, unless I'm supposed to hover and use the force on that character. And let's see, over here. Is there something to aim for and break? Not really. Is Commander Cody somebody with a droid's head? Or is this simpler? Do we just step in here? Nope. And Anakin Skywalker can't use the dark side or anything like that. Well, geez, color me confused. Like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. And how much of this would I know if I had watched episode 3? Or do I have to watch the Clone Wars cartoon to know what I'm supposed to do? Is that a droid's head? That's a droid's head, okay. So it was that one blue character that apparently was walking around down there the whole time. And so off they go. Interesting. So that droid is working for a Sith. And see, that's where I think probably the Clone Wars cartoon could have and probably did expand, is that they threw in at least a few extra Sith characters and a few extra things to work to potentially fight, instead of the movie series being kind of the same bad guys or one note bad guys that you see in one fight and then they die. I guess in general, I just don't think George Lucas is good at telling epic stories. He tries to tell epic stories and ends up telling small character stories about like one family's experience. And everything becomes so interconnected, and it's really this small group of people that really are important, and then everybody else is just cannon fodder. Or even worse, they show up and then they don't matter anymore later on. Let's just keep going forward. Did a little bit of a puzzle there. And see, this is very reminiscent of the final fight in episode 6, except for we've got a dual lightsaber, what are they? Yeah, lightsaber thing wielding character. Let's see, by pressing X. So I need to do this to knock her down, jump and hit X. And now I have 2 lightsabers. And I knock her down, and then she takes her lightsaber back, and then I use the force to pick it up. And see, I imagine that this is a scene that in whatever way it was originally depicted, whether the Clone Wars cartoon or the movie, which I assume it's the cartoon. I imagine this character didn't even show up in episode 3. I imagine this fight would have looked great and been awesome, but here it's just kind of repetitive. It's just kind of dull. Alright, get out of the way, Anakin. And we're doing the same thing again, the back and forth with the Force. So nothing's changed since the last Lego Star Wars game we played. Which is kind of great in itself, because For as much as all the other Lego games tried to do new things, they failed a lot. And just to get back to the classical things, that I'd be fine. So if they wanted to make like a Lego Indiana Jones and have it feel a lot more like this game, or a lot more like Lego Star Wars 1 and Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, I would be happier with that than the Lego Indiana Jones we did get. Same for the Lego Harry Potter, same for the Lego Lord of the Rings. I'm sure the programmers are not interested in doing the same thing over and over again, but heck, this is a kid's game, and that's what you do with kids media, is you repeat yourself and do the same thing over and over again. And see, I'm not really certain what I'm supposed to do here. I think I'm supposed to force and get the blade back from her. So we're doing it again. It's kind of repetitive now. We've done everything once already, and it's automatic guaranteed that she's gonna knock the blade out of your hand after you do 1 damage. Where'd the other lightsaber go? It's over here. And then I hit X, and then it locks up to decide what it's gonna do next. I mean, you can clearly see that the second I hit her, the game's processing, the pathfinding engine or something else, who knows what, decided to lock up and think about where the character was going to go and what was going to happen. And here we are, and she's just jumping off the edge, which again, that would have been a really interesting thing. Now, here's an interesting question. Did this happen in the Clone Wars movie or the Clone Wars cartoon, which, whatever, has this happened anywhere with a giant robot with a laser? So apparently the laser target finder here has a delay before it actually fires, so you're actually not in any danger. Just throw everything at him. See, and I don't think that is the case. You can also see that this is a little bit better and bigger boss fights than I think we had in Lego Indiana Jones 2, which I assume that game came out near or right before this game. This game looks a little bit better. It's definitely way more polished and way more finished. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why this looks more polished and finished is because they cut production on Lego Indiana Jones 2. Well, I mean, how much progress can you really even... How good was that game ever going to be when it had to focus half of its levels on the Crystal Skull? See, I don't know if I'm supposed to throw this guy or what. Like, I see this leg. Here's the thing. Let's see. Where'd it go? What happened? There was a Jedi circle there, and I did something that made it decide not to work. And see, this looks 50% Lego and 50% just 3D animated. And we're still having that as a big issue in Lego games. And now they're on top of it. And now we're doing something that we saw in Lego Batman 2, which the move was cool then, so like I'm not upset with it now. Where am I is a good question to ask. Like, throw this back at her, and then Like, so we are following hundreds of stories, and there's probably dozens of collectibles. And see, she'll just throw things, she'll just push you away with the force because the game doesn't want you anywhere near her right now. You've gotta force the item back to them, and then we knock her off. And then they hop on these light speeders, and like, how much of that sequence really occurred in the cartoon? I assume the cartoon. I'm just gonna say it was in the cartoon from now on, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, level complete and free play unlocked. And we unlock Commander Cody and a clone trooper. So, Commander Cody is an important character where the clone troopers are not really. A little bit unsurprising. And it took me twice as long as it did before to cover to play this level because of that. And see, at risk of making a mistake, let's just go ahead and hit continue story, because I think it is just going to bring us back to the menu each time, which is a waste and silly. Why take us back to the story, to the menu? Yeah, we've been playing for 45 minutes now, and we are 3.8% done. And see, we've now unlocked a arcade mode 2-player, and the game's locking up. It locks up in the menus. It's so weird. It's not even like a video card thing. It's some weird CPU thing. So we could come here and choose any characters, and why it specifically wanted us to wait, I don't know. So there's 3 stories here, like 3 movies. Alright, I get it. We probably should have done Geonosis first. And so we did level 1 here, and when the game decides to not lock up, we'll do level 2, and we'll just go throughout, I assume, a whole process there, and eventually we will have unlocked all of the areas on this globe, which I don't particularly like this globe mechanic because it's just awkward, but it's kind of cool looking too. I get it, at least. And let's see. What's interesting too, I guess, is if I walk over here and hit pause, it does tell you the percentage done at the bottom of the screen when you hit pause also. So we have 2 of 130 gold bricks. Obviously, if we got True Jedi, we would have gotten another brick. If we had gotten all of the 10 collectibles, we would have gotten another brick, which means we could have had potentially 6 golden bricks in 2 levels by now. And then there's 18 red bricks, which implies to me that there's probably 18 levels in the entire game, so 6 for each one of them, which that's not too bad either. So far so good, I guess. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.